Hi, I'm Eric.
And I'm Dick. We are the Annuity Guys.
Today we're going to talk about a question that really a lot of people have a lot of interest in, and it's knowing the difference between what's a fiduciary planner and maybe just a normal salesman.
Salesperson, yeah. And maybe we should call this Confessions of Annuity Salespeople, because we really started out in the industry more as a salesperson.
Most people who are trained,
yes,
they're trained in this industry as trying to enhance their sales techniques.
Exactly, how to close retirees. And you know,
and here we should say we're focusing primarily on the annuity side of this.
Exactly.
We're talking about the annuity side because it's the insurance side of the industry.
True, and yet even in the security side, there's a lot of folks that are just salespeople.
Right.
And so, you know, again, we entered the business in different ways. You and I did, but we both came in through a salesman type channel. And it's not that you're taught to be dishonest.
No.
You're just not taught to tell it all. And you know.
I think the key thing here, and it's really thinking about, it's how are you going to eat? And so much of this business is based off performance-based compensation.
Sure.
If you get more clients, if you close more business, that's how you're compensated.
You sell certain products, you get paid more, and so you know we're made very aware of that in the beginning. So to break out of that and choose a fiduciary standard, which is a completely different standard, where now instead of just telling people what they want to hear and what we call in the industry mirroring them, seeming like them, making them feel good about everything, a fiduciary kind of takes a different road. They as a true fiduciary planner, you have to present both sides, the advantages, the disadvantages, the pros and the cons. You have to make the client much more aware of everything so they can make a fair decision.
Right. It's not just about giving you the highlights and saying, doesn't that sound great? You should buy this. Here's your pen. Sign now. It's really taking the next step in saying, all right, let's look at the pros and cons of everything we're looking at.
Right.
And not just one product either. It's looking at all the potential solutions for what you're looking to achieve, and then saying, all right, what's in your best interest? Now, one thing we should talk about when we talk about fiduciary, and it's really the best interest standard. It's doing what's in your best interest and telling you which products and services we believe are in your best interest.
Correct.
Now, there's a lot of people on the investment side that have a fiduciary standard.
Yes.
They don't hold an insurance license.
And they don't know much about annuities.
Well, and so the problem becomes when someone presents them with an insurance piece, they say, well, that's not a fiduciary recommendation. That's not always the case. They don't play or practice in both sides of the environment, so they always assume to say that the annuities are not the right thing because they don't know anything, they don't practice that side. Very rarely will they make a recommendation. Unfortunately, that's not in their best interest at times because they won't get compensated. They don't understand the means, and so sometimes when you've got somebody that's recommending an annuity and somebody else says, oh, that's not good, it's because they don't really understand it, they don't participate.
Correct.
And it's not that it's not the person that's recommending it isn't a fiduciary, but it's two different.
And Eric, there's well-known fiduciaries out there that advertise, I hate annuities. And it's not that they're lying, they truly hate annuities. However, it's also a great marketing ploy because they can just basically hobby horse what it is that they specialize in.
Right.
And so what I think we're really trying to help folks understand is folks that you need to work with someone who is very broad-based when you're working with annuities, and someone that takes a holistic view of financial planning, so that when you're looking at your portfolio, you can truly balance your portfolio. And one thing that we talk about a lot, Eric, is outcome-based planning and putting the least amount you need in annuities, or at least determining that least amount as a baseline to make your decisions in balancing your portfolio.
Right. It's truly doing what's in the best interest for you. And it's, as you define your goals, it's helping you understand which products and which pieces might help best achieve those goals. And that's the key thing usually for most people. You have to define what the target is. You can't hit a target you can't see.
Right.
A salesman many times will open the door by presenting a piece making it sound very rosy.
Yes.
And because you don't have that piece, it sounds like a great option. The problem is when you start just accumulating pieces without a target or an end in mind, that's when the challenges come about.
Well, and I think what you were alluding to earlier is to state that fiduciaries are not necessarily all created equal.
No.
So you can't just because someone is a fiduciary decide that, oh, well, then I can just trust everything they say. And that goes back to...
Right. They're going to present something that's what they believe
their
is
bias.
in your best interest.
Right.
It's not that their recommendation would not be considered fiduciary. It's just that you can have multiple fiduciaries, and they're not all going to come out with the
all going to agree.
same plan.
Right,
they're not all going to have the same examples. From somebody that's a fiduciary, it's really presenting you with options to help you narrow down the choices yourself.
Correct.
Ultimately, you're the one making the selection.
And one thing that I'd like to mention, which is going to be quite confusing to folks, and that is that the new Department of Labor ruling about being a fiduciary, when you are working with someone's IRA and you are selling them an annuity, you are held to a fiduciary responsibility. But just because you have an insurance license and you have a fiduciary responsibility, you still are not a full-scale licensed financial planner taking a holistic point of view towards balancing the portfolio.
We picked on people on the security side for being a fiduciary and not
focusing on investments.
There's going to be people now on the insurance side that are going to be fiduciary that don't look at the security side. So it's many times you'll have people that play in one side or the other. Sometimes if you're really wanting somebody, especially in retirement planning, you want somebody that's going to look at you as an entire person, not just one. I can help you with this side, or I can help you with that side. Unless you get two guys that you get to agree to work together and that practice in each side, which often doesn't happen.
Exactly, and I think that most folks out there kind of intuitively would agree that a person who's looking out for their best interest is better than a dyed-in-the-wool salesperson that's just trying to move a product. So I guess, Eric, when we come back to what we would say to someone, that's out there looking, what would they, what would they be best to consider?
Well, obviously, we'll feel very strongly that you should recommend work with somebody that's a fiduciary, as well as definitely work with somebody that's a holistic fiduciary. Make sure that if something is interested in retirement, that you're looking at all the potential products and services that would fit your goals.
Well, the retirement is at stake here, and you want to do everything that can possibly put the odds in your favor of complete success.
Well stated.